Hello, hello, hello. I am Anthony.
I'm Chris.
And this is question number 214 out of 268 questions that we've answered in Keto Answers, a book that has questions and answers about the ketogenic diet.
Yeah, so this question is not necessarily directly pertaining to keto, but it's something that comes up a lot in this conversation.
I think so.
It does, yeah. I mean, it's a different diet, I would still say, though, right? Different variation.
Yeah, but it is ketogenic.
Okay, so let's just get into it.
It's a form of ketogenic diet.
We'll get into it and then we'll argue about who we think's right here. So the question is carnivore safe?
Which is a way to do the ketogenic diet. It's the most carb restrictive diet. It's a zero carb.
Yeah, it is a variation of the ketogenic diet.
It is,
but different from the ketogenic diet.
So, is it safe? What is a carnivore diet? We've both tried it. It's only eating animal products, nothing else.
Yeah. So there are still a couple ways that you can look at carnivore, though. Some people follow like a meat-only carnivore diet where they're like just consuming like muscle protein from animals, usually from beef. And then there's also another way to look at it is just animal products, so incorporating like dairy and eggs. That's another way that some people are doing carnivore. So when it comes to is this safe, I mean, the truth is that we don't know in the sense of research. So there hasn't been a lot of research done looking at here's a carnivore diet for X amount of time and here's what we look at. We don't have that research yet. And mostly because, the way that we've traditionally looked at our nutrition, it's a pretty radical idea to even assume that eating all animal products would be healthy for us. But as we know, we've kind of had it wrong for decades now. And it appears that the carnivore diet is pretty great, and we've seen a lot of success in ourselves and in a lot of other people that are using it.
Yeah, so I mean, anecdotally, a lot of, we felt great on it. There's a lot of people who are now have been doing it for 10, 15, 20 plus years that not only are feeling, not sick, but they're thriving. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of people are really reclaiming their healthiness in a way that we haven't seen with anything else.
Yeah.
So it's super promising. But when it comes down to it, again, we just don't know. There are societies in, that hunter-gatherer societies that have only eaten animal products historically. There are no vegan societies historically, which we know that a vegan diet is deficient in some nutrients, key essential nutrients that humans need for a lot of different biological processes. That's actually not the case with a carnivorous diet. So eating only animal products, you can get all of the nutrients that you need as a human. Mm-hmm. And that's where I think that when we have a hypothesis, thinking that it's safe, I think that we will find out much later on with research when it gets done that it is safe.
Yeah, and I think it's really important that we unpack the reasons why people think carnivore is unsafe, because the reasons why most people will look at you like you're crazy when you talk about a diet like this is because of the misconceptions that we have around nutrition. So a lot of people still think that fat is bad for us, which obviously we know is not the case. A lot of people think that meat is bad for us or animal protein is bad for us, especially red meat. There's a lot of thoughts that saturated fat is bad for us. A lot of thoughts that high protein diets are bad for us, and really carnivore is kind of the gamut of all of those things. Right. You're really bringing them all together. But it's really important to point out that we've been wrong with a lot of these things, and these are all common misconceptions that have been based on bad science. So when we look at a lot of the studies that are saying that, primarily animal-based diets are bad for us, these are epidemiological studies, which we won't dive into that too deep right now, but basically these are just weak studies that don't they do a lot more correlation, and that doesn't really tell us the causation of these things. So these aren't based on good science, and that's the biggest reasons why people think carnivore is bad for us. But when we actually look at the fact that you can actually get all the nutrients that you need from a completely meat-based diet, and we see a lot of people who are using it therapeutically, so a lot of people who are suffering from autoimmunity and other disorders of like gut and digestive health are experiencing a ton of really great benefits from following this carnivore diet, and that's because it's not bad for us like we would traditionally think.
Yeah, unlike other people who are super strict in carnivore, I think there's sort of a parallel here where a lot of people think that carnivore is only safe, but plants are unsafe.
Yes.
I don't really hold that perspective. For some people, they might find a lot of benefit and result from eating only animal products, but I don't think for the general population, plants are going to kill you.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a great way to look at it too. Like, we believe that you can survive and thrive and have really great improvements in your health eating a completely meat-based diet, and you don't need to have plants in your diet, but that doesn't mean that they're bad, and that doesn't mean that you should just completely avoid them. There's a lot of benefits, even just from a lifestyle component for incorporating those things. I mean, one of the feedbacks I think that we would both probably say about carnivore is that we kind of think it's a little bit of a boring diet. Like, really love the way that I feel on it, but not a whole lot of selection, so it can become a little bit boring at time. And vegetables can be a great way to kind of to mix it up a little bit. So not something that we're going to go so far the other direction and say, hey, vegetables are bad for you. You just don't need them to be healthy.
Right. So carnivore, yes, you can survive on it. Some people thrive on it, and we think it is probably safe, although we don't have conclusive research evidence for that.
Yep. Try it for yourself. Test out.
Test it out.
Yeah, test your blood, test everything, see how it's going for you. We think that you'll probably be pretty happy with your results.
If you're looking to simplify everything you need to know about the world's most confusing diet, head on over to Amazon.com and pick up Keto Answers today. The best part about it is that you're not just getting basic information. It's almost like you're getting a tiny little version of me and Chris shrunk down, put in your pocket to answer every question you have along your way.
And that's not weird, it's beneficial.
It's the best.